Hello my dears and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon and tonight I thought I would share with you my end of summer TBR. I'm hoping to get all these books read before summer comes to an end, and I'm going to be getting ready to compile my fall TBR, looking for all of your weird and spooky book recommendations for that one. So do let me know that down in the comments. If you've read any good horror or just weird creepy things lately, let me know. Anyways, we're just going to jump on into this. Some of these are books I'm going to be reading just for the channel. Some I'm going to be reading for the channel, but for sort of video projects that I'm working on. And then some I'm reading for my book-related podcast with my good friend, Krista. So let's just jump on into it. The first book is the one I'm currently reading, and this is Ripe by Sarah Rose Etter. Let's see, how many pages in am I? I'm 53 pages in and I'm already obsessed. And I cannot wait to share this one with you guys. This is actually a recommendation from one of you, from White Stripes 71, I think is the username. And I'm so thankful for the recommendation and I'm loving it. So this is basically about, let me read you the back blurb here. Let me get my glasses first. Cassie is trapped in a corporate nightmare. Between long hours, toxic bosses, and unethical projects, she struggles to reconcile the glittering promise of a city where obscene wealth lives alongside abject poverty. Startup burnouts leap into the paths of commuter trains, and men literally set themselves on fire in the streets. But Cassie's never alone. From her earliest memory, the black hole has been her constant companion. It watches, but it also waits. Its relentless pull draws Cassie ever closer as the world around her unravels. When her CEO's demands cross an illegal line and her personal life spirals towards a bleak precipice, Cassie must decide whether the tempting fruits of Silicon Valley are worth the pain or succumb to the black hole. Like, if that doesn't intrigue you, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, next up are two books that I'm going to be reading for NetGalley that come out in October, but I'm going to be reading them in August. I tend to read the arcs 2 months before they come out. That way it gives you enough time to mark your calendars, plan to pick them up, whatever the case may be. The first one, which is the next one, I think this one comes out in September actually, that I'll be reading is The Hitchcock Hotel by Stephanie Roble. Says a Hitchcock fanatic with an agenda invites old friends for a weekend stay at his secluded themed hotel in this fiendishly clever, suspenseful new novel. Alfred Smedel is not your average Hitchcock fan. He is the founder, owner, and manager of the Hitchcock Hotel, a sprawling Victorian house in the White Mountains dedicated to the master of suspense. There, Alfred offers his guests round-the-clock film screenings, movie props and memorabilia in every room, plus an aviary with 50 crows. To celebrate the hotel's first anniversary, he invites his former best friends from his college film club for a reunion. He hasn't spoken to any of them in 16 years, not after what happened. But who better than them to appreciate Alfred's creation? And so to help him finish it, after all, no Hitchcock set is complete without a body, and sounds so fun. I can't wait to read that one. Oh, this one also really intrigued me, and I can't wait to read. I'm gonna need my glasses for this one. It's called Coup de Grace by Sophia Ajram. And it says, a mind-bending and visceral experimental horror about a young man trapped in an infinite Montreal subway station. Perfect for readers of Mark Z. Danielewski and Susanna Clark. Vicken has a plan: throw himself into the St. Lawrence River in Montreal and end it all for good. Believing it to be the only way out for him after a lifetime of depression and pain. But stepping off the subway, he finds himself in an endless looping station. Determined to find a way out again, he starts to explore the rooms and corridors ahead of him. But no matter how many claustrophobic hallways or vast cathedral-esque rooms he passes through, the exit is nowhere in sight. The more he explores his strange new prison, the more he becomes convinced that he hasn't been trapped there accidentally. And amongst the shadows and concrete, he comes to realize that he almost certainly is not alone. A terrifying psychological nightmare from a powerful new voice in horror. And that sounds really, really interesting. And I've always wanted to read House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I can remember like 15 years ago asking for that book from my sister for my birthday, and she couldn't find it. I know now with Amazon as popular it is, it's much easier to find. So maybe after this one I'll finally decide to dive into House of Leaves. I know it's like a puzzle in a book. It takes a long time to get through. It's a whole ordeal. But I'm looking forward to it. And then the other one from NetGalley is called Januaries, and it's a collection of short stories by Olivia Blake. And now I've never read anything from her before, but I've heard a lot of people love a lot of her books. And so when I saw this, I was like, yes, this sounds like a good starting point for me to jump into. And it says, Januaries is a collection of new and iconic short stories and novellas from New York Times bestselling author Olivia Blake. Once upon a time in a land far, far away, the tutelary spirit to a magical bridge rapidly approaches burnout. Meanwhile, Congress enacts a complex auditing system designed to unwaste your youth. A banished fairy answers a Craigslist ad. A Victorian orphan gains literacy for her occult situationship. And a multiverse assassin contemplates the one who got away. Escape the slow trudge of morality with these magical ruminations on life, death, and the love or revenge that outlasts both. So that sounds fun. To be sure. So I can't wait to... Am I in focus? Yes, okay. I can't wait to read that. Next up, if you've been around my channel for a while, you might know that I love the Gilmore Girls, the TV show. Just Gilmore Girls. I love it. I've watched it many times. I'm constantly in a state of rewatching it. It's like that comfort show I can put on in the background when I'm doing other things, and I just love it. So, one day I saw that somebody had compiled a quiz, or a list, of all the books that are read, referenced, mentioned in the show. And it's a total of 339 books. So whoever compiled the list made it into like sort of a quiz where you could click off all of the ones that you've read, and then it would give you the percentage of books that you've read that are mentioned on the Gilmore Girls. So I've read 80 of 339, which puts me at 24%. So I thought it would be fun to do a video where I read I picked 3 of the books that I haven't read to read. So I've ordered one of them. 2 others are sitting in my Amazon cart. But the one that has arrived is A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. And I've never read this. I saw the movie years ago. And I've always been curious about the book, so this seemed like the perfect... I don't know if the cover's really picking up there. It's very white. It's a glass of milk against a white backdrop. Very sleek, minimal cover. I love it. So I'm going to be reading this as one of the 3 books at some point this fall for my Gilmore Girl reading video. The other book that I'm doing as part of a reading vlog is Dante's Inferno. It's short. I think it's 106 pages. I can remember reading parts of this in school, but certainly never having read all of it. It's short, but the print's very small. But again, it only takes up half the page, so... The reason I picked this one is because later this month, my sister and I are traveling out of province to go to a Hozier concert. And his most recent album, he said, was inspired by Dante's Inferno during the pandemic. He read it and was very inspired, and a lot of the songs on the Unreal Unearthed album, which is fantastic if you want to check it out and you haven't. So I was like, that'd be a fun reading vlog, reading Dante's Inferno, going on a road trip with my sister, and getting to see Hozier in concert for the first time. So I'm very excited about that. Then another one I'll be reading soon is called All Fours by Miranda July. I've never read anything from her before, but I all the reviews sound really good. And one of my favorite musicians left a review on Goodreads for this and said that this author always manages to make her feel okay existing. And I thought that was a very intriguing review. So I'm excited for this one. Let's see what it says. We're gonna need our glasses here, I fear. A semi-famous artist announces her plan to drive cross-country from Los Angeles to New York. 30 minutes after leaving her husband and child at home, she spontaneously exits the freeway, checks into a nondescript motel, and immerses herself in an entirely different journey. Miranda July's second novel confirms the brilliance of her unique approach to fiction. With July's wry voice, perfect comic timing, unabashed curiosity about human intimacy, and palpable delight in pushing boundaries, All Fours tells the story of one woman's quest for a new kind of freedom. Part absurd entertainment, part tender reinvention of the sexual, romantic, and domestic life of a 45-year-old female artist, All Fours transcends expectation while excavating our beliefs about life lived as a woman. Once again, July hijacks the familiar and turns it into something new and thrillingly, profoundly alive. So that sounds wonderful. I feel like this might be one I pass on to my daughter when I'm done. I feel like she might also like that. And then the final three are three for the podcast. We've got August's episode, which is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This is long. I'm just now realizing how long this is. I'm going to want to start reading this sooner rather than later. So I know this is about two friends who meet up again and again over the years, and they created a video game together, and it's just about their friendship through the years. I know a lot of people like this. How long is this? We tend to try to pick shorter books. Okay, just over 400 pages. So that's for August. Then for September, I'm doing a reread for me personally. The September House by Carissa Orlando. If you haven't seen my book talk video for this, definitely check it out on the channel. It's about a haunted house that wakes up every September and just goes to town. And the older couple that lives there, it's funny in the way that Grady Hendrix is funny. It's horror that doesn't take itself too seriously, and I love that. And then for October, one of my favorite Stephen King novels, The Shining. I'm going to be reading that, and I can't wait. This is about Jack Torrance. I mean, I'm sure you know what it's about. Jack Torrance takes a job at the Overlook Hotel. He's going to be the winter groundskeeper once the hotel closes up for the season. And once he and his wife and his young son move in, things go terribly, terribly awry. The quintessential haunted hotel story. And yeah, oh, interesting. In that pile, we've got two books that were turned into films by Stanley Kubrick. So there you go, you guys. That is my end of summer TBR, moving into fall with those last two, but I wanted to mention them here. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're having a good week, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye.